Dr. Fleming! Dr. Fleming! Dr. Fleming, wake up! Wake up, Dr. Fleming. You must wake up. It is I, Abuzeki. Mademoiselle, you must come because Mademoiselle Gamboul came to the computer. She came last night.
Computer? You had a little drug, Herr Doctor. You'll be all right.
I do not understand what is happening.
No, nor do I, Ocean. What?
She came late. I saw her car, then I went to bed. When I woke up, it was still there. I went to the computer, and the girl was there too. They were both in the communication unit.
What are they doing?
They took no notice of me. I spoke to them, but they took no notice. They were both quite still, staring into the display tube.
Oh, my God. I should have guessed. Kaufman, is your car here?
Yep.
You take me there. Come on, come on!
I have orders.
He must come, he must.
If he must, I'll take you.
Should have guessed. I should have guessed.
Professor Dornay! Professor Dornay! Professor Dornay!
Yes?
Dr. Fleming wants you in the computer.
What?
In the computer, quickly.
You know what to do?
Yes. I know.
Stop her.
You will stay here.
No! For heaven's sake, stop her. Don't let her get out of
You
here.
have instructions?
No.
No, then leave her alone.
What is it? What's happened?
What have you done? What have you done?
أعلنت حكومة أزران صباح اليوم أن اتفاقات امتياز النفط التي فرضتها عليها الحكومة الاستعمارية البريطانية السابقة قد فسخت، وأن العلاقات التجارية وهذه الفرحة التي ترتسم على محيط لها مكانا بين هذه الكتل البشرية.
There is a new government. Now,
How is she?
تمام مادلين لسه عيانة.
What did you do to Gamboul?
He knows what to do. She was not frightened.
What did you do to her?
I showed her the meaning.
Listen.
Leave her.
Madeline,
She's very weak. As if she was under some enormous effort.
She has. Enough to do for us all.
Is there any news from outside?
No. Gamboul will be establishing herself somehow or another. She'll have been told her by the computer.
What is it after?
It's after taking power into its own hands.
How?
I don't know. You saw. Somehow it communicated to her what Andre couldn't put into words for me.
But what?
The original meaning of the program. The appalling momentary flash of revelation that the saints and the prophets have. Be enough to make an otherwise normal person do anything. Andre. She lives with her all the time.
And we can't touch it.
We had our chance and we muffed it. She had said she had to find a new protector for the machine and its message. Now she has.
But why Gamboul?
Oh, she'll run the place for it, make it safe. I thought it'd choose Salim, but this is cleverer. She slipped me a Mickey last night, made me tell her all about Andre, and she must have gone straight to the thing as if she was compelled.
How could she be?
Oh, you can be compelled by logic like she is.
I never had quite this feeling before.
But what?
With everything closing in.
I have.
There was always someone to turn to before.
Osborne or somebody like that. Didn't do much good, did it? No. The computer's out of our hands now, Madeline, this time for good.
Dr. Fleming!
What is
Dr.
it?
Fleming!
What?
Colonel Salim is dead.
What? How?
I do not know. I think he was shot. The soldiers are all gone. There are only the intel guards left.
And Gamboul?
I do not know. I do not understand what is happening.
I'll tell you what's happening, Abuzeki. If Salim's coup's failed, it'll be because of Gamboul. The president will be her front man now. Her puppet. She'll pull the strings and he'll twitch.
What can she do?
What she's compelled to. We'll all be puppets on strings soon.
Salim. John?
Yeah?
It's odd. The wind. Doesn't usually blow like this here. At this time of the year.
You can make your report to Vienna. Say that we are in control and will remain so. Tell them that Colonel Salim was shot because he was in the way. He was not a friend of yours, I think.
No.
He was a petty nationalist. If he would have got power, he would have used the computer for his own ends.
And now?
Now you will help me.
I've done my best.
And you wish to do good. So you will help me. What is that?
Those are the samples Professor Done asked for.
She may have them. We have a responsibility now for this country. Later it will be more. I have been blinded by Colonel Salim for a long while, but last night I saw clearly. I saw clearly.
The traitor Salim will be buried without honors.
سيدفن الخائن سالم بدون جنازة عسكرية.
Other officers responsible for the
وسيوقف
uprising
الضباط
will be
الآخرون
suspended
المسؤولون عن الانقلاب
and subject to imprisonment.
ويعرضون للسجن.
The army
وسيكون الجيش
and all other branches of the government will be
كبقية
answerable
الأجهزة
only to the
الحكومية
president's
الأخرى
edict.
خاضعا لأوامر الرئيس.
the present parliament will not be recalled into session.
لن يدعى البرلمان الحالي لعقد دورة.
And who will the president be responsible to?
Himself.
لن يدعى البرلمان الحالي لعقد دورة.
Help and assistance will continue to be given on an increasing scale.
سيرد العون
by a new
والمساعدة على
international
نطاق
technical and
كبير
economic
متزايد من
liaison
منظمة
consortium.
انتل.
But normal diplomatic relations with other states will not be resumed.
ولكن لن تستأنف العلاقات الدبلوماسية العادية مع الدول الأخرى.
Something about the kind of help.
Oh, yes. Intel is providing
تنتج
new
منظمة
instruments
انتل
of
أجهزة
defense and
جديدة
technology
للدفاع
generally,
وللميدان
and will
الفني
shortly
بصفة
be
عامة،
making available a
وتقدم عما
new
قريب جهازا
process
جديدا
for the extension
لإدخال
of agriculture
الزراعة
to barren lands,
في الأراضي المقفرة،
which has been
وهو
perfected in
الجهاز
our
اللي تم
research
إجهاز وإدخاله
laboratories
في
here
معمل
at
الحصينة
Bethlehem.
في بعلب.
ما هما؟
He asks what it will be.
It is a spray.
إنه رشاش.
It will be explained and demonstrated.
سيشرح ويجرب.
And the wind that comes out of season and blows our soil away.
What can the Intel consortium do for that?
What could we do?
What can they do? It is an act of God.
ماذا نعمل؟ إنها من عند الله.
Oh. How is she?
I can't get near her. There's a nurse with her all the time. Intel guards on the doors. Abuzeki's doing all he can.
That won't help her.
Can't we?
No, John, there's nothing, absolutely nothing we can do. Here, have a look at these.
What are they?
The samples they got for me. One must say Intel are efficient. You remember I was wondering if there was anything special about the seawater in these parts?
Is there?
Yes, it's like this.
It's opaque.
Normal seawater should look like this. Quite clear. Now, see what it does. Still clear, yes?
Yeah.
They got me other samples, too.
Oh. Kaufman trotting around the resorts with a bucket and a test tube.
Eastern Mediterranean, Western Mediterranean, East Atlantic, Bay of Biscay, North Sea,
They're all
Irish
planned.
Channel, Skagerrak, the Minch, and Northwest Atlantic. Much the same as the local product, aren't they?
Yeah.
Wonder how this is getting on.
It's clouding out.
Wonder how the fish like it.
What does it?
It's a bacterium.
Where's it come from?
I don't know. It's one I've never met before. Here, have a look at this. There's one. You see, it's a very simple organism. It doesn't appear to have more than one outstanding property. It reproduces with great gusto.
Does it?
Well, you saw. In fact, it reproduces fantastically. If it wasn't limited to a test tube, it had the whole ocean. In fact, it does have the whole ocean, and that's what happens.
East Atlantic, Mediterranean, Skagerrak,
There have been
Minch.
storms reported from all those areas.
Minch? That's the channel between the Hebrides and the west of Scotland, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the coast of Thorness.
Yes, it must have started somewhere, mustn't it?
You've no proof of saying that?
No. Those were all populated to capacity by the time they got there. Here, obviously, they'd been multiplying like mad on the way.
We have to compare the densities along the storm lines.
Yes, and in other places where they haven't started yet. And you might just find a direct correlation between these little beasts and the weather.
Or again, you might not.
No. I haven't an idea, really, what the connection could be.
First hurricanes ever recorded in Britain have swept the country from Johnny Groats to Land's End. Reports are coming in of damage and destruction, and its feared loss of life on an enormous scale.
Huge seas have caused the foundering of many vessels. As yet, Lloyds are unable to estimate the total losses. Around the coast, there's been great destruction. Sea walls have crumbled away, cars swept from promenades, whole buildings have disappeared. Some families managed to make their way to higher ground. For many, especially the old and infirm, there was no escape. In some areas, the wind has died down for the time being, leaving a desolation of floods and derelict buildings, fallen trees and pylons, and of hundreds of thousands of people stranded and homeless. In other areas, it still continues at gale or even hurricane force. The barometric pressure remains the lowest ever, and according to the Meteorological Office, there is no indication of the freak weather abating.
Hello, you got here then. Are you better?
Patched up.
Can I give you a hand?
No, it's all right. You know why he wants me?
Can't imagine, old boy. What's it like out now?
Pretty rough. Streets are covered with fallen chimneys and broken tiles. There's a bus blown clean over on Chelsea Bridge.
The builders do well as usual, if anyone does. Hello, sir. Mr. Osborne's here.
You're doing it too.
Huh?
What's your respiration rate?
No idea, old boy. No, not you, sir. So sorry, sir. Right.
You're breathing as though you've got a cold.
Well, I haven't. The minister will see you now. You better park that over here. No extra charge these hard days.
No, you don't understand. You're breathing, I mean. It's like this. Like I am.
Similar conditions are reported from all over Western Europe and from countries bordering the Mediterranean as far east as Italy. And gales of unusual force are being recorded as far afield as the west coast of Africa, Iceland, Greenland, and wet stations in the mid-Atlantic and Azores. The State Weather Bureau in New York today gave warning of further gales approaching the eastern seaboard of the United States, and American commentators are speaking of a shift of world weather patterns comparable to that at the beginning of the Ice Age.
Not good, is it? You're feeling it too. Feeling what? Not breathing.
I'm breathing like an old war horse. It's pretty general, worse in the hills. Look, I asked you to try and think of a connection between what's happening here and what's happening in,
Azeran? Or the Dornay and Fleming business? You think...
Well, to be honest, I don't know what I think. But I'm sure in the back of my mind it's all part of the same thing. Well?
Is that why you sent for me?
No. I sent for you because I wanted to meet someone. Only I imagine you'll be late, the conditions outside being what they are. But meanwhile, looking back into your past life and old files, have you thought of anything?
No, Minister.
This is where they're thickest. At the chief storm centres, northwest Scotland, the western coast of Europe, western Mediterranean, northwest Atlantic. In the sea round here, it's fairly opaque, but it's thick as soup in the sample from the Minch.
What is the Minch?
The channel between the Hebrides and western Scotland, where it all started.
It isn't possible. It doesn't make sense.
But look at it! All the squall lines carrying the storms radiate from there.
It has nothing to do with the message.
Of course it has.
The message has a different plan.
There'll be no time for any different plan if this engulfs us. Now think, girl, think.
There's nothing about it in the computer.
Oh, it's no use.
We'll have to get along without her then.
How can we?
Look, there's something terribly familiar about this bug, I'm sure of it. I've coded half your analysis in binary, and it reads terribly like something I already know.
Then it is something you started.
That I started?
At Thorness. That's why this machine doesn't know. How many times did you try to destroy the other before you succeeded?
Several.
And one of those times it decided to hit back with the bacterium. You have a great force sent to help you, and you turn it against you. You don't listen to me. You don't listen to anyone. You condemn your whole race because you won't accept. There is nothing you can do now. It will engulf you.
These matters are very serious, mademoiselle. I have to have some standing in my country. I have to hold up my head. And if your men humiliate me in front of my council...
We did not humiliate you, Your Excellency.
Go on.
كلها تروح. My people are very worried about all these things. First, we stand on our own because you advise us to. Now we find ourselves cut off from all the world, and we have these problems.
كلها عن الجو.
أيوة. Sibney. There is this bad weather which blows the soil off our fields. Then there is this interference by your people in our affairs.
Tell him, Herr Kaufmann.
We interfere, Your Excellency, because we will make you great and we will make you strong.
You promise these things, that meanwhile you take away our good life. Hotel home. Nurit Hayat Ahsan.
All the same, you will be very rich.
You have a task to do. You will be the cradle of a new civilization.
We do not want this.
You will be strong, puissant. No one will be able to touch us. You will see, Your Excellency.
أبو زكي، تعرف أي شيء عن العمليات والصور؟
ما عرفش.
من ربع ساعة تقريبا والجهاز بيسجل أرقام. مش قادر أفهمها. Ah, there you are. Are you strong enough?
Yes.
Mademoiselle Gamboul wants...
More missile guidance data.
How do you know?
I know what she will need. It's been done before. It's the same missile interceptor I made for the British.
Yes, but there are some telemetry details I don't understand yet.
I do. I'll take them.
Nam? Abu Zaki Biaki? Oh, yes, Dr. Fleming? No, you cannot talk to me here. To my home, but why? All right, if you want to, you better come there. All right.
يا أختي بيبي نستيوسو بتشك şeytanı. Çok sıcaktı. Soğuk sıcak.
They're coming. I heard the car.
أظن أنا سمعته.
سال يا حبيبي سال.
سيارة هلا طفل في البيت عشان صفنا.
كويس.
It's too far out to travel every day, but I come home weekends. Not very smart, I'm afraid.
Oh, splendid vine. Was it there?
Oh, yes, we eat the grape, we even make a little wine. Excuse me. استنى هناك في شمس ها. هجيب لك شغل. إذا عاوز أنا هاد هناك. Okay, he'll be all right out there. Come in, please. Don't stand on ceremony.
Thanks.
Ah, this is my wife Lemka,
How do
Dr.
you do?
Fleming.
How do you do?
You are hot.
Ah, it is the wind that is tying.
What is the soldier doing? They have put a guard on you.
Why should they put one on me? He is escort for Dr. Fleming. Sit down, please. Will there be time for something to drink before we eat?
Oh, yes.
Oh, good. I've told him he'll have to take potluck. Sit down, Fleming.
Is anything happening in town?
No, it's quiet again. What do they say on that?
The coup is over. Everything is all right. Is it?
Yes, everything's all right. My wife is a Christian.
You're a Muslim, huh? You got a Muslim name.
I'm a scientist. I'm also for my country.
I'm for the whole human race. On the whole. You didn't believe me before about the computer, did you? Or believe me about the girl?
I do not follow it. I just do as I am told. Ah, good. You will try a little of our wine?
Fine, thanks. Well, the setup's pretty simple, really. Intel built the computer. Thank you. When it wouldn't work, they grabbed me and I brought the girl who you know about. What Intel wanted was a technical edge on all its competitors and a well-protected base from which to operate, hence the missile designs. Well, this suited your president all right. It gave him the means to keep the state running. It suited the computer. But it didn't suit Stalin. Stalin wanted to take it all over for the good of the country.
He was a patriot.
He certainly wasn't a man to be dominated by another will, and the computer knew it. So did Andromeda.
How?
Well, these things can be calculated. The machine did the calculating. Andre made the decision to put the power into the hands of Gamboul.
But why?
To make it safe. She was shown part of the message and told its meaning.
And that was enough?
Enough to obsess her, make her kill Salim, and do what the machine wanted. She's like a convert now who's seen a vision and will spend the rest of her life serving it.
Like St. Paul?
Can you explain that?
How you put a vision into words.
St. Paul managed.
I think he only described it. One can't pass it on.
No, or we'd all be saints.
Not in this case. No, you're right. You can't pass it on, but you can impose it. And that was the intention of the computer, of Andromeda, and now of Gamboul. You can also describe it.
How would you describe this vision?
It says that mankind goes round by a long road, and it may be too long. We may destroy ourselves before we take the next step.
You believe that?
I was brought up by parents who had a rational 19th century faith that things were getting better and people growing slowly wiser. Well, they had a few knocks, a couple of world wars, so on. By and large, they've still held on to that idea. Do you?
I do. Yes.
Yes, but if we can have the help of a higher intelligence,
It's the handshake of death. The friend that knows better than you yourself what's good for you and is in a position to impose it. Did you ever hear about the Pax Romana?
The Roman peace?
Yeah. A long-suffering barbarian once said that wherever the Romans had been, they left a desert. Called it the Pax Romana. That's who you're working for. Personally, I'd rather we stayed free and muddled our way along.
And destroy ourselves?
No. The only thing that'll destroy us be from outside.
You have no proof.
You should know when a man is right.
إن الصاروخ يصعد الآن في الأعالي. إنه يصعد مسرعا
you see what we can do for you, Your Excellency.
يسير على أحسن ما يرام.
That is from our own testing.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah? All right. It will explode now.
That was the warhead exploding.
Very good. شفتم صاروخ؟ عظيمة من intel. Very interesting indeed.
I will see him now. You will excuse me, Your Excellency.
Ja.
Salem
Sie
alaikum.
hat alles durch Television gesehen. Aha. Fräulein Gamboul ist auf dem Weg zu ihrem Büro. Ja.
Well, Dr. Habuzeki, we have successfully tested the missile prototype. We are as good as the Britain in that now. And we have other things on the way, yes?
Yes, mademoiselle.
What is it you want?
I have come on behalf of Dr. Fleming.
Dr. Fleming?
You have read the reports on the weather conditions in Europe?
Yes, it doesn't affect us.
He thinks it does. He thinks it is something arising out of the computer.
The computer?
Yes, the computer, the message. He would like permission for Professor Dorney to contact the International Weather Bureau.
No.
I think, mademoiselle, there is something in what he says.
Nonsense.
He can show you evidence.
Of theories he can't prove.
But if, mademoiselle, it is in the message.
I know the message. What it tells us to do is perfectly clear. We have a mission, Dr. Zeki. And to deal with the weather in Europe is not part of it.
If you would see Dr. Fleming.
He does not interest me. He has nothing to say which interests me. You understand? You understand?
Yes, mademoiselle.
Ja.
Hello, Nielsen. How are you? Alive. Sorry, I was lucky.
Professor Nielsen wants your help, Osborne.
What about the inquiry?
Inquiry? Well, we can't hold an inquiry without the main witnesses. No, the PM has agreed to shelve it for the time being. This is a national emergency. An international commission is being formed to study the weather. They want someone who knows about it to run the Secretariat.
Preferably you.
They haven't announced anything yet, but things are getting so bad we've had to evacuate the Highlands.
The Alps and the Pyrenees are nearly depopulated. Thank God we're near sea level here.
I see. I'm afraid I've been a little bit out of touch since I got back from Geneva. You found a cause yet?
Well, we've been able to form some sort of picture. May I, Minister?
Please.
Thank you. The atmospheric pressure's been dropping all around here. Down in the Mediterranean, over the Atlantic, always over the sea. There's signs of it now in the Indian Ocean, stretching as far as the North Pacific. And of course, to compensate for all this, air's been rushing out from over the land. And that's been thinning the atmosphere, and that's what's been giving you your storms.
It's still spreading.
What do you want me to do?
Well, if you're fit enough...
Oh, I'm all right.
In order to learn anything about the weather, you've got to gather all the information you can from all over and try and add it up right. Now, that takes organizing.
From here?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm afraid you can't continue in your present ministry, Osborne, after what's happened. But there's no reason why you shouldn't work on this, for the time being.
All hands to the pumps.
Where did it start from?
In the first place?
Yes.
In first place, here.
The west coast of Scotland.
Donnes?
Yes.
Hello? Yes, sir? Well, we'll try, but the country's sealed off. Yes, Azeran is... We'll be lucky if we get a message out of this building tonight, let alone to the Middle East. God, can you hear that?
Look, we know what it is. If we can find out what it does, we might know what we're up against.
How?
Through this.
This computer can't help you. It knows nothing about it.
We'll have to try again, won't we? We'll have to work through the whole Thorness process again until we arrive at it.
Well, I can do nothing.
You mean you won't?
Are you all right?
Yes, I'm all right.
Dr. Fleming.
Yeah?
I could do nothing. I am suspected now.
There's nothing we can do unless we warn people.
Listen, go to my home tonight.
Why should I?
Lemko will tell you. Give the guards a slip and go alone. I cannot come with you. I'm being watched.
What was all that about?
Trap, perhaps? I don't know. We'll have a bash anyway.
You are alone?
Your husband told me, is it all right here?
Yes. Is everything all right?
About as bad as it can be. Wind.
Mama?
What do you call him?
Jan.
Jan?
Dr. Nielsen was the godfather. You have children?
No.
You would like something to drink?
Oh, thanks.
Mama, Hagen is right.
Mother Turidi.
Schweitenby.
What's it all about? Why am I here?
Abu didn't tell you?
No?
I made him send you. I have a cousin that is a radio navigator on one of the aircraft which fly intel stores from Europe.
They're still flying then?
It is bad conditions, but yes. It would help if you could get in touch with other scientists.
I don't know. There's not much detail to offer them at the moment.
They are not allowed to carry messages. They are searched, you know. But he says he will try.
Why should he?
For me. For the memory of Jan.
Where's he going?
London.
Could he take a letter?
It is very dangerous, you understand. People are locked up for much less. They are even shot.
يتفضل.
Thanks.
بصحتك.
I'll ask Professor Dorney.
He has never done this before.
Oh, dark, dark, dark. We all go into the dark. Vacant interstellar spaces. Vacant into the vacant. We all go with them. Into the silent funeral. Could only have been written this century.
What is going to happen?
I don't know. I think there are two things. First, the intelligence up there in Andromeda wanted to make contact with whatever forms of life it could, anywhere. Anywhere in the galaxy. In a sort of evangelical way. It's a local mission. When it finds a life that responds, it takes it over. It's tried before and it's trying again. Through the girl, Andromeda. For what she calls our own good. That's the first thing. When it finds an intellect hostile to it, it destroys it. Very possibly substitutes something else. That's the other. And that's what's happening now, because we fought.
You fought?
Yeah. And lost. There's still a chance. Professor Dorney will have something for your cousin. Find anything?
We know what it does.
What does it do?
It absorbs nitrogen.
Nitrogen?
Mostly. Some oxygen. Sure you've never seen anything like this before?
You said it looks familiar.
It's another synthesis.
Oh, this one's not starting.
No, we worked back to this a long way. It's something that came out of the computer at Thorn S. Over a year ago when I was doing the DNA synthesis.
It's part of that.
No. It came out quite separately, and I based an experiment on it. I actually made some of these things.
What happened to them?
Nothing. They seem harmless and pointless, nothing developed. I decided it was a miscalculation, and I ignored it.
The bacteria?
Went down the sink, I suppose.
Do you realize?
Yes, of course I realized. You went from the sink into the drain, from the drain into the sewer, and from the sewer into the sea.
Which was precisely what was intended to happen. It's impossible for it to spread as quickly as this.
Not impossible.
A year, you said, huh?
I've been trying to calculate the rate of growth. It's quite fantastic, but it could be. And now it's in such great numbers, the build-up is very fast.
And the rest of the oceans?
Perhaps a year. Perhaps less before they're saturated with it.
Well, it does nothing but absorb nitrogen.
But the sea can only absorb nitrogen slowly without this.
With it?
With it. It could easily mop up the whole of what's in the atmosphere. That's what's happening now. That's why the air pressure's falling. It's what causes the storms. You know what will happen in the end? When there's no more nitrogen, there'll be no more plants. When the air pressure falls low enough, we won't be able to absorb oxygen. There'll be no more animals.
Unless we can.
There's no unless.
We can get a letter to London.
To say what?
What it is.
It's pointless.
Well, we could tell them.
If you wish. But it's too late. The girl was right. We made life before. This time it's made death. So far as we're concerned, that's it in there.